Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all the dignitaries on and off the dais. I, Rohan Bhosle, student manager of Balaji Institute of International Business, feels honored and privileged to be given an opportunity to introduce our guest speaker for today, Mr. K. Soundarajan. Sir is currently the Vice President Human Resources at TVS Logistics Services Limited, Chennai, and is heading the organization capability in human resources. Sir has served various organizations like Godfrey Phillips, ORG Systems, Hindustan Unilever, and various other organizations for more than 25 years. Mr. K. Soundarajan is a master when it comes to employee relations, employee engagement, performance management, talent management, productivity improvement, training, and organization development. Sir has completed his executive program on strategic HR management and is a certified Thomas Profile Assessor. He has also led a team which went on to receive the TPM Excellency Award in Japan. Sir is very enthusiastic and keen when it comes to engaging with HR professionals and educational institutes. He is also a guest faculty in a couple of management schools in Chennai. So, without further ado, I would like to call upon the man himself, Mr. K. Soundarajan, to address our student managers. Sir, the podium is all yours.
Yeah, good evening, students. I think I have come at the fag end of the evening. Hope you got a lot of energy to listen to me and kind of pick up few learnings from this. Yes, sir. Good. Actually, I was just chatting with your director, Colonel Sir. The kind of energy and enthusiasm that he has at this age in kind of driving this institution to this level and looking at the future. I think we need to have 200% energy to meet his level of energy that he has today. I'm really amazed about it. And I mean, that gives us a lot of energy and enthusiasm to do this work, similar work a lot more. One of the important aspect which actually inspires me whenever this such invitation come is the fact that when I meet the youngsters, I get charged up. Okay, so I used to kind of feel or envy at times why we are grown up, why we become aged, why can't we still be in this age of enjoying life and studying, roaming around, right? So it is actually a pleasure to be in such institutions and be part of this event that is happening for the last 2 days and maybe tomorrow. This kind of events actually help us as professional grown and at a senior level also to be in touch with the ground reality of the students of this kind of age group. What do they expect? What is their aspirations? And how do they look at the kind of organization they would like to go to? That gives me some idea so that it helps us to shape up our own talent management programs. So these are some of the mutual benefit which I always look forward, and I guess this kind of interaction will help us to take away from each other and make our progress much better and faster. I just thought of sharing few things with you. This is supposed to be sharing of corporate expectation from students so that you are better prepared for your future career. When I actually was preparing this presentation, I was thinking something else in my mind after seeing this institution in the last 15 years, how it has grown. And of course, after seeing the colonel and what I could hear about him and your faculties, the way they are kind of taking this institution forward, I really wanted to mix some of those in my presentation to share so that it is useful and you feel some gratitude for that. So I'm really thankful to the BAM for inviting me for this session. Sorry? This is to check your awareness. Generally, what do you expect to know from a corporate? Now that you are actually in the fag end of completing your education most probably, and you would be looking forward to go into a corporate. I do not know whether any of you have past experience working in corporates. We all generally be a good individual, right? We have got adequate knowledge on the subject which we are learning. We are expected to be functionally good as an individual. How do I cope up with the, my interaction with the organization when you get into a different environment? I just thought I will touch upon this aspect in 3 dimensions, right? That's what I mentioned here. The dimensions are what as an individual it is good to be, right? As you as an individual. Then when you get into an organization, how it actually emerges into a corporate world, what is your role, how do you need to adjust or prepare yourself for that. Then the larger role that you need to play in the society. So I thought I'll just touch upon these 3 aspects broadly. What I did is I just picked up few lessons from some of the management theories, some of the good books that you would have gone through, and I just focused few areas probably which could help to reflect and see where we are and what we could do to enhance or strengthen ourselves so that we are better prepared. And of course that's what the intention of these such programs, for you to be able to meet the corporate challenges, right? On an individual basis, there are one beautiful books. I think you would have all read this book. Familiar? Yes. So what is very important in this book is not that what is mentioned there. Interesting, this book has got, each section has got something for you to do some follow-up action to get actually learning translated into an habit. Very often what happens, we read the book, but we don't translate that, make it as a habit. Fine. But however, I'm not going to go through each of the book, but I just thought I'll spend few aspects of the book, which in my opinion, I felt as a corporate profession, as a need from the freshers who come into the organization. Right? I have no doubt all of you as youngsters would have learned, become good at your subject. Right? That's how you pass out and come out with a lot of laurels and aspire to become a successful professional. But then there are certain personal qualities which I am sure maybe an unique thing to this institution, as I was told, is that the rigor that you go through in the first year should have given you a lot more of this, but it is still worth to reflect on this and see where you are and what you could do better. Is that all right? One of the important aspects as an individual, in my opinion, is how are you able to influence the environment around you, right? If you really wanted to be successful, you need to expand your influence around you. Very often, we just take care, as long as my job is done, I am okay with that. Will it be all right in an organization? That's a challenge. In organization, it is not individual, it is bunch of individuals. You need to work with each other. You need to give space for others. But yet, if you feel that what you are doing or what you are saying or what your thoughts are excellent, then are you able to push it across in the system? Are you able to influence others? Are you able to expand your ability to influence others? Is what is very important. I thought this is very often is the area where many of us not able to expand, therefore we remain an individual at individual level excellence. If you want to become great leader, this is in my opinion one of the very, very important aspect. Otherwise you will not be heard and your thoughts, ideas will remain with you. Then I thought this one important aspect. Second is, emotionally if you look at it, if there is equally somebody trying to push or trying to influence or trying to kind of get things done from you, very often at the age of whatever you are, you react to that situation, right? How many of us has the patience to listen and take the time to respond instead of reacting, right? The moment you react, what happens is you lose out what comes next could be an important aspect because you are kind of stopping or stalling the further communication and conversation. So your ability to respond is very important rather than reacting. Do we make the choice of responding rather than reacting? Right? The moment you start responding, you have a choice. You have a choice to respond or not to respond also. Not necessary for everything you need to respond, provided you take that moment and make a choice. I thought this is important quality which in any situation becomes very critical of making or breaking. Secondly, the reaction or response also leads to a question. Do you have authority over yourself to become angry at the instigation of somebody else? Right? Why do you become angry? Think for a moment, many occasions, for somebody making mistake, you feel angry about it. Why should you? Right? That is because we are becoming restless and wanted to react rather than responding. And whenever you become angry, what happens? Who is at fault later? It is the person who is become angry very often makes wrong decisions. Right? Have you felt that? Have you seen a traffic scenario where you get mad and start behaving in a manner which actually creates chaos and end up in a wrong situation? You have a choice to respond or react. But having said that, it is not that easy. It requires an amount of emotional balance, which I would like to touch upon. This is becoming very critical these days, mainly because corporate world needs people who are emotionally balanced. Right? If you lose your cool, very often there is no way that you will recover from even the losing situation. You would have heard, the moment Indian team start losing, what happens? Immediately they are branded. Then what will happen to the team morale? And are they in forever? So if everybody calls Dhoni as a cool captain, no? What is his strength? Is that the emotional balance that he carries with him. And every time when he loses, he bounces back, or his team bounces back. And that is what, in my opinion, I have seen in a corporate also, equally is important. And that emotional balance can make even people who lose multiple times to raise up and succeed. Right? So this is another important aspect. Very often, you also get to come across something called choices. Some choice you made, therefore you are sitting here. You need to reflect and see whether this choice is right. If you have not made this choice, where would you have been? And And every moment when you make a choice, please reflect and see whether you have gone through and assessed each of those choices in terms of its merit. And this, gentlemen, ladies, will quite often happen in your life, not just on corporate world, even in your personal life. And those guys who make right choices are the guys who move forward. Right? How do you make those choices? It is very important that, again, stay cool, reflect, analyze, and then see merit of the case. It may happen that you would have got best of options. How do you make a choice? That's where the critical aspect of making a choice becomes more difficult. And that is what you need to develop in terms of choosing what is better than the best, so that you will always be on the top of things. The third aspect which I would like to touch upon is on the aspect of synergizing. Again, in corporate world, it is going to be a very tough competitive environment, right? That is actually seen even in the institutions like here, right? Every one of you must be trying to outsmart the other. Is it right? Be it in getting into this institution through the admission process or through the rating process, finally through the placement process, right? Who gets selected first is always a question of envying situation, right? But then what happens in a corporate world cannot be the same. In corporate world, in my opinion, you don't win. You have to win together as a team. So what happens? Can you outsmart others? Gone are the days where one man becomes successful, rest are all just execute what he says. Today we are saying the competitive environment is such that many minds need to be put in together to get best out of us. Right? There is nothing called win-win also. While win-win is important, synergizing is more important. I am sure you would have all heard stories about how a person having specialization in one area alone has not made any success. He needs to get multiple areas of expertise to put together a business model. Right? A business model, even if it is considered by one individual as an exceptional case, there is multiple set of people who come together to make it reality. And that is where actually the parts actually turn out to be larger than the parts. So it is actually what they say normally, 1 + 1 is never 2. It is more than that. A simple logic, very long, demonstrated one, but it becomes even more critical these days in a corporate entity where you need to work together to become successful. Right? The last one which I thought is very essential. Is the learning come to an end at some point of time? It never. Learning never ends in your college or any institution. Right? The people who are successful and continue to be successful till the end are the people who continue to renew themselves. Renewal here in this context means many things. Please remember, again, there are a lot of writings, a lot of example which is available. Renewal in one area is not the end of all. Do you have the right health to kind of meet the challenge? Do you have right frame of mind to think and develop critical decisions? At the same time, do you have a framework of mind where you can look at the society where we are operating? And finally, do you also have that spiritual in yourself? I am not talking here spirituality in the sense of religion, but it's more about something beyond, higher level of thinking. Selfless thinking, which what in my opinion is the spiritual. These are all critical because continuously you need to reflect, to be active, to be a good individual, to be a good family person, to be a good corporate citizen, to be a good, social citizen. And in my opinion, they are not separable. They are all part of the whole of the universe. So, today if you are going to conduct business in an irresponsible manner, you know what happens? Have you ever come across examples which is great multinational collapsed? Why is this happening? There are individuals who don't care about the society, right? So, education has become today available to all of the nation, and we are actually competing with international organizations, international institutions to produce best of talent. But in the process, we should not lose out what is going to be a larger interest. That's what I thought we should keep in mind as an individual. Right, if you are an effective individual, how it translates into an effective corporate citizen? That's what is my next thought. In the journey to become effective individual in the corporate scenario, there are set of learnings which I thought I should share with you. If you are an effective individual, yes, you could be an effective individual to an extent where you can contribute as an individual. But when you become corporate citizen, as I said, your work need to be a larger than individual aspect. I just picked up a learning which I thought I'll share. This is a book I'm sure some of you would have learned or read. When you enter into an organization, you are stepping into the level 1 leadership role, which is how you are going to contribute as an individual. Right? How effective are you going to be with your knowledge and learning that you are kind of carrying from your institution? That's fine. To start, this is great. But can you become greater? How do you move in the corporate world? This is a hierarchy that generally happens. Are you prepared for it is what I thought I should reflect. At the next level, you start becoming a team member. This is where I said you need to develop the ability to deal with people. This is where your emotional balance, your ability to move with people, share your thoughts and ideas, understand other people, and help each other to progress comes into play. Do you develop that? Are you getting into that level to get into the next level of leadership role? Right? Moving from there, you become a manager. Can you visualize? Tomorrow you are going to take up this role. If you are going to be an effective individual, to transform yourself into a manager, there are certain set of qualities that you need to develop. Right? I am sure these kind of interactions, these kind of engagements just adds little bit to that. But a more interesting aspect is, from what I understand from this institution, is lot of activity that is happening here should help you to do that. The ability of a successful manager is not just what he can do by himself, but more than that, what he can do through people. Right? How can he leverage the people's strength? How can he utilize the resources that is given to him is going to determine how successful he is going to be. Right? Now, having become a manager, then what? That is where the ultimate of becoming an effective leader. Can a manager become a leader by automatic success of a manager? No. An effective leader has to transform himself from a manager to a leadership role. which means how passionate are you against the goals that you are setting yourself? How passionate are you in terms of motivating people and driving or guiding them to achieve that? How are you going to think differently and set an ambitious vision or mission for yourself or your team? How are you going to kind of show them the way or develop them or energize them to achieve what you are setting for yourself? These are the differentiating factors which will be, different from a manager. In all probability, manager, executes, whereas leader actually conceptualizes and gives a future guidance, a step ahead of manager, right? And a lot of leaders, if you can read, their success is largely what they can visualize for the future than what they can see today. What is today can be executed by good team members or a manager. But what can be seen tomorrow is something you need to really have that visualization to become a leader. Finally, the level 5 is the superior level where you really become a great leader who actually just not think about organization. They don't think about today. They don't think about here and now. They don't think about few activities. They think completely differently into a situation where an ultimate level of professional reach they can reach by themselves, by their team members and the organization, and that is where the organization become great organizations. And the moment the leaders can show the way to make the organization great, they need to have a lot of personal humility to do that and professional achievement to reach that level. This is the ultimate of a great leader in an organization. And I am sure you would know very few organizations are able to reach there. And more importantly, having reached, how do they survive and sustain it? And that is what I thought should be the next subject I should touch upon. Right? You have seen what an individual can need to be an effective person. You have seen what a successful leader need to be in terms of growing from entry to superior leadership level. Now, how does this transition happen if you do not have the people at the center of things? I actually like this, theory or concept, as you may call, which actually is my pet subject wherever I go and talk. When I spoke about individual, I said you need to be an effective person. When I spoke about organizational leadership, I said you need to work, create a vision, mission, create a winning organization. You need to become leader, great leader. But all this can happen only if you have people at the center. Right? I just thought I'll just reflect, plotting this in an XY, matrix. On one level, I look at career progression as you start, traveling in the corporate world. At the other level, I am looking at how much time do you spend on each of this subject. I divided this into 3 parts, right? Now, if you look at it, at the beginning of the career, what do we do? Lots of time we spend to demonstrate our individual capability. I just mentioned here technical, it could be any of your functional aspect, right? You actually start demonstrating your greatness as an individual, your subject knowledge expertise to start with. A lot of time you spend on that, right? Because at an entry level, you are an individual contributor, right? But as the time progresses, which is what I have shown here, as you move forward in career progression, what happens? You start reducing your functional contribution or involvement in those aspects of functional or technical aspects and start spending more and more time on conceptual thinking. What is that we can do differently? What is that the future is for us, where the business need to go, how others are doing, what is something, future going to be like, and start visualizing the future and conceptualizing the idea to make somebody to execute it, right? As you can see, the technical or functional aspect coming down, conceptual aspect going up in a career as you progress from level 1 to level 5. But what is not changing is this, which is about the ability or the need to focus on people. It's not that because I am HR that I am talking about people. Do you think anybody in the organization or any aspect of function, even if you take for within an organization, a department or a team leader, become successful if he does not bother about people? Can you imagine a situation an individual remains an individual and becomes successful? Someday he has to expand his activity. One person, even if he starts a business, it has to become a team, it has to become an organization, it has become a corporate. That's how it grows. Then you need people, and the people make the difference. And in my opinion, if you have become successful in handling people and ability to deal with them, motivate them, challenge them, make them great individuals, great contributors, you leave a legacy for yourself. Therefore, somebody can talk about you, here is a great leader who actually grown me to this level. And that's what I thought I should emphasize, is the fact that any level in your organization, people become critical and in the center. There is another theory which actually talks about three aspects of a management theory: task, team, and individual. Development of individual. Again, if you look at it, I'm sure some of you would have seen this. Again, it talks about it is important that you execute tasks, but please remember, it is not individual, it is the set of people and the people's ability to drive and deliver it. So it is a combination of all and not just any one of this, right? And I just wanted to see how this translates into corporate world experience. I just shared two aspects from a corporate experience. What you're seeing here is the leadership model used in my earlier organization, right? It talks about 6 aspects. Again, if you look at it, everybody is measured on one aspect, which is building superior talent. Can you see that? Which means you may be a wonderful person in all aspects, but are you developing people? Please remember, organization wanted to be a perpetual entity. They wanted to have organization running for years, decades. It is not run in the mill, fly by night, where you can make money and go away. So if you are looking at that kind of a vision, you will focus on developing people. And therefore the emphasis actually is building talent. All other aspects, I am sure you will be able to understand. This is one model which, used by another company. We are also having a new approach in TVS Logistics from where I come, something called habit. Similarly, if you look at here, it focuses on 2-3 aspects. How do you continuously improve yourself or your system processes? How do you actually collaborate and innovate and bring new ideas? How do you ensure that your commitment is carried out? And these are some of the aspects which corporate looks upon, and if you do not kind of develop this from the individual level and at a leadership level, these are going to be a challenge. But I am sure with such interaction, such kind of engagements, and the institution's ability to kind of provide these opportunities, I would have no doubt that you guys are going to succeed in this. I just thought I'll just reflect on that. Okay, this is an example of how individual transform into a great leader. I am sure you are aware of this person. Now, At the last bit, which I said, a third aspect, which is in my opinion very essential, which is actually gaining a lot of importance today. Can you, as an individual or as a corporate body, operate yourself or kind of run a business unmindful of a society around you? Today, please remember, there is going to be a lot of challenge, and society is going to exercise a lot of influence on your decisions, right? Anything that you do, are you a responsible corporate social society organization, is the question you need to ask. Those are the days when you ask one question: is it a profitable proposition? Any proposal that is put forward, if you are in a board level, the question they ask: is it a viable, profitable proposition? Right? Today, the first question probably would be asked: is it socially tenable? Is it going to be accepted? Will there be any social reaction or response to our business model? Right? There are many businesses, and if you are aware and keeping your antenna up of what is happening in Western countries, consumers and customers are boycotting industries for not being socially responsible. Right? Greenpeace, for example, is very active. Right? International Human Rights Commission is very active. And India, it is catching up. You can see a lot of laws are being enacted to ensure that equity is given to people at different levels, at a larger social level. So what does it mean? Do you carry certain values to do this? I thought I just focus on few values which, in my opinion, I have seen as a critical aspect. However good, however brilliant we are as an individual, however successful or however profitable our business model, if the foundation is not good, I don't think the organization can run for a long time. This TVS is a company or an organization has seen 100 years. And maybe many of you may not know that it is having roots in South. Today it's actually gone global. And the center of this organization's philosophy or belief are some of this. I have no hesitation in claiming that we keep 2-3 things in mind. One is the business ethic, and another is people. If these are satisfied, then we talk about business model profitability. Right? So I thought some of these aspects of values that will go a long way in establishing and gaining customers and consumers for a long time, so that you have a sustainable business model. Integrity is no doubt is a very, very basic and foundation. And organizations have collapsed, right, for being not integral in terms of the leadership level or at the organization level. Right? Today, people are easily identified and differentiated on these areas. And do they have a courage to take something different decisions, which is actually groundbreaking, which is unique, which is, in my opinion, not anybody will dare to take. And that is what is going to differentiate. And that includes, do I do a business model which first addresses my society need than business need? Do you have that courage? That's going to be different going forward. Of course, last but not the least, the passion with which you start on your process of growing or achieving something is very critical. These, in my opinion, are the basic needs for any successful person or corporate body, not for today, not for the short duration time, for the long time, decades and centuries to come. And center of all this, in my opinion, are the people, are the human being. Right? At the end of the day, what are we trying to do? we are serving for the people and the society. It could be somebody serving for us and we are going to serve for somebody else. And that is how we help each other synergize our thoughts and ideas and lead to a success. And that is where leaders like this have been shown our ways. I thought somewhere we should start aspiring. It is like, you start aiming for the moon, at least you will hit upon the star. That's my wish. And be an effective individual, become a great leader, but more importantly, demonstrate yourself a great leader at large. And I wish you all the very best to become great leaders. And at some point of time, you will have and reflect and prove that yes, here is one of the greatest leader probably this institution has created. Thank you very much for the opportunity.